My name is Carol McIntosh, and I'm running for your First Ward City Council seat. And I'm also the host of a community conversation. And I thank you for tuning in. My co host, Steph, is on vacation. Steph is at the vineyards. So she's not going to be with us. But and I really would have liked to had her because, we could talk about it all day and all night. We've had so many things going on. It's been said that there's a new hit list out. I'm so hoping that that is not true. Um, on top of it being a hit list out, um, another student has came up dead. So I'm not quite understanding what that's about and why we're experiencing that. But something's going on with our young people. Um, I'm going to start by the whole. It's the whole thing though. It's our economic situation. We have to also understand that. Mickey, can you hear me at least?
Yes, I can. And you
Okay.
live.
I'm sorry. You didn't count me down. I didn't see you count me down anyway. I'm sorry, Mickey. But anyway, we've had some more killings, which is so upsetting, very disturbing because it's time for the madness to stop. A 12-year-old girl was home sleeping in her bed and she was murdered. It's to my understanding, well, I won't say what school they went to because I don't want to give the school a black eye because this has nothing to do with the school, but it has everything to do with our situation here in Flint and the hopelessness. Um, I attribute one of the issues that we're having concerning the behavior of our young people with the water crisis. We're 10 years in, so that means if somebody was 7, now they're 17. They were 11, now they're 21. And that's right at the age that we're having these issues with a lot of our young people. But the saddest part is, I don't know if these issues are being addressed. Because it's occurring day after day after day after day to the point where um I think we're probably in an emergency situation. I mean, because what is it that you can do other than you know, we need policing. We know that. We don't have enough boots on the ground. Anytime somebody can post a hit list before they commit the crimes on social media and grow, and they're going through with these things, and there's no deterrent. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's being done, but all I know is we're in a bad way and we have to make some changes. So um some things are supposed to start shaking out. I feel bad for the parents. I feel bad for the parents because I heard parents state that their students were honor students before the water crisis, and some of them are failing now. So many things were predicated on this water situation. You know, it's hurt our local economy. I've spoke about that. It's killed our local economy, in my opinion, because if you have young children, why would you move to a city that has lead poisoned water, which affects their growth, their behavior, their their everything, their intellect? It's just all downhill. It's a sentence for failure. It's a sentence for failure if they receive this lead poisoning because the recovery is not good. So at this point, that is what I think we're seeing. I think we're seeing um, some of the repercussions from our lead crisis as it pertains to our young people. On top of the fact, like I said, you have this lead crisis and it's making it unattractive for people to buy homes here. It's making it unattractive for businesses to come here. It's unattractive for everybody. And so I don't know what what the plan is. But at this point, we have to come up with a. I know, and I've been saying it. A comprehensive um, public safety plan. And I've also stated that I believe that we need a um, gun violence and gang task force unit to specifically target these type of situations, because this isn't um, a regular situation. This isn't a regular situation. So I think we need people who specialize in this. And also, I like to say that our people, our young people, are probably traumatized at this point. I was speaking to some people talking about some of the things that we went through in this community just since the 80s, though. It's been trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, because we had the crack epidemic, which brought on the spread of AIDS. Then we had um, the AIDS situation, and just when you thought we had overcame that, school districts started failing, and we had the housing crisis and the collapse of the housing industry. We After we had that and we thought we were recovering, we followed up with a water crisis, and then a pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's just been trauma after trauma and crisis after crisis. And even though everybody might look like they're doing okay, under those circumstances, especially when you're a young person, it is hard to do okay under those type of situations. And we also were speaking about the fact that there's a lot of young people out there underage that are on their own, fending for themselves for whatever reason. Um, Incarcerated parents, loss of parents to death, or what have you. And a lot of kids are just raising themselves. We lack programming. We lack opportunities for our young people. We lack job training. We lack jobs. A lot of these young people fall in the cracks because they don't have an education. They don't have job training. They don't know what their next move is. So these gangs recruit them and adopt them, and they feel like they belong. But we know studies show that um, gangs have the initiation process is just so violent for some of them, which leads to drugs, inappropriate sexual activity for minors, the drug use, alcohol, the partying, and just going astray and forgetting about, or maybe they just never get the opportunity to have a real shot at life. I think as a society, we owe it to our young people, because we got all these programs on paper, right? We got all kind of programs on paper, but who do these programs really help? Because my concern is um, we're not seeing the evidence of the implementation of these programs, right? If we have all these programs, then we should be able to see the turnabout in situations in our community. And I'm just not seeing that. They say they have this and they say they have that, but that's not what we're getting for whatever reason. I just I just feel like we're going to have some accountability concerning these programs. We're going to have to know who's going through these programs. We're going to have to see how effective these programs are. We have all this computer technology. We're going to have to start tracking these programs and what's really going on with our federal dollars and our tax dollars. What are they? It's time to go to work. It's time to do real work, because let's just face it. Are we going to be able to do something about this? I think it's definitely time for an aggressive plan, because the summer is just getting going good, and it's a nightmare. If it's not safe for young kids, then who is it safe for? So I just I'm at a loss for words concerning all that's going on. And we're on 512 on the 1420 side. So those are the questions that I'm seriously asking the leadership in my community, and the conversations that I'm having with people in the community, some leaders, and we're trying to get some things going. But I think we're definitely going to need our government agencies to get involved and to be a little more aggressive about it. And I'm not necessarily saying aggressive behavior towards our young people will help us, but we definitely need policing because there has to be some accountability for when you act as a criminal or participate in criminal behavior. Um, we're gonna have to take care of some real business. And I just feel like we're failing our community as far as the policing goes and the public safety health issues go and the gun violence control situations are way out of hand. I'm just not sure if these issues are being addressed. It's not enough to show up at the scene after the fact. At this point, it's time for us to um, get our arms around this situation and find out what's going on with our young people because when they're not safe at home, in the bed, in their parents' care, they're not safe. And I think we all should have a problem with that. So I did want to talk about some other things, but that right there is just it's so mind blowing that these young people are faced with those type of issues. And these are young people who are going through regular things that young people go through that are having to deal with life or death situations at the hand of their peers. It's just no understanding that for me. So if you have a young person um, in your household, talk to your young person about how valuable life is, how precious life is, how they can be better, how they can do better. Um, we got to try to talk our children out of falling for the traps of the enemy. That's number one. But we have to offer them up something. And I just, at this point, I'm not sure what that's going to be. I know higher education, going to college, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. But before they even get there to make that type of decision, their lives are often ruined. So, with everything that they're faced with, I think at this time, um, we're going to have to sit down and come to the table with some people that we usually don't talk with or people that usually don't talk and come up with some real solutions for our young people because they do deserve better. They deserve us paying full attention to what is going on. And I'm thinking this put the hit list on the internet may be a cry for attention. Maybe they're crying out for somebody, for the authorities to step in and do something. I mean, because let's just face it, peer pressure is real. Sometimes as adults we still face peer pressure and fail to navigate it properly. So I would hold my young person tight and put, I know you probably don't have the extra money, and a lot of people say, well, the parents are young, the parents, well, like I said, some of the parents are victims of the crack epidemic, the AIDS epidemic, and lost parents. Some of their parents had to parent themselves. I think all the trauma is just not starting to show up. I think it's been there all the time, but it's getting to a point where we can no longer ignore it. So I'm asking you, like I said, look at your mentoring programs. We have to get back to that. Like I said, I've been talking to some leaders in our community and we're trying to come up with some plans or some ideas, but I just feel so sad today. But I'm praying God. It's always hope with God, but we got to get our young people back to that. The church doesn't reach out like it used to. I remember what was it? What was it? Whatever the bus was, it used to pick us up for church, Sunshine Bible School or something like that, and we ride the school bus to church, and they'd have all kind of different programs for us, or you can go up to the school and play basketball, or get in day camp, or take a little class, or what have you. Our young people don't have those opportunities, and I think it's time for us to start figuring out why not and start trying to make some of those things happen. I know Carmen Bendel Ainsworth, they used to have an amazing program where you could take classes, construction, and all kind of different classes you could take and get certified with the state. But you don't see those programs anymore. So, and we used to have adult ed programs for our parents that were trying to get on track. We have to do more than turn our noses up at the problems of society. We have to get involved and try and make a difference. We're at that point where the community is not going to be safe for anybody in a minute. So, and I just hate for it to come to that. Like I said, it's when you can't go to the banana boat. But anyway, on the 1420 side, my time is up. My name is Carol McIntosh. This has been a community conversation. Please vote for me as your first ward city council person on August 6th. I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you. And until next week, love yourself and love somebody else. Catch us on 810 News Media Group if you want to continue in the conversation. And peace. Till next week. Bye. So yeah, and so we got those type of things going on in our community where it's just not safe. I'm trying to figure out how come I can't see myself. How come? Stop the cam. Okay, is that me? Or do I put I think I present slides, video, share screen. Don't show these tips again. Screen share works best on a good computer. Let me see. So I'm trying to get this screen going. I guess I should have. What is something happening? Select a tab to share. So now it's saying select a tab to share. But anyway, okay, unhide my cam. So, but anyway, we've got a lot of stuff going on with our young people. We're gonna have to do better, um, as far as our support for them go. Um, we're going to have to step up. We're going to have to get out in the community and talk to some of our leaders. We're going to have to, let me see, your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access, then reload the page. So it's saying I need to come out and reload the page, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Then you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. I don't necessarily want to do that because I don't want to lose you. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and we'll have a vocal. And I did go to the Geek Squad this week and try to get this taken care of. But you guys know me, I'm terrible. I think I'm going to come in, Mickey, on my phone now that I'm off of 810 at least so you guys can see me so I can continue this because this is very, very awkward. So yeah, but we're having some issues. We're having major issues with our young people and the crime. Can you see me, Mickey? So we're having some serious issues with young people and how crime is being dealt with in our communities. Um, Another young lady was murdered. So we have a lot going on because I did want to also, they were saying things about the president. They're calling for Joe Biden to step down, which is unbelievable to me because why does he have to step down? Because he's old. So what? He's old. All of them are old, just running. They're saying it like Donald Trump is 22. He's old. He's old. And he has some serious issues and he's done some serious things. And I didn't see anybody calling for his resignation. All the lies he was getting caught in, all the things he was doing, the denial of COVID, but had his COVID shot the whole time. Nobody called for him to step down. I'm going to address the elephant in the room, though. The reason they want him to step down is because if something happens, God forbid, and he doesn't make it, Kamala becomes the president. In my opinion, as a woman of color, I believe that's the real issue. That they don't want this guy to leave here and this lady becomes the president by default. I just don't think America is ready for that. And I'm thinking that is one of the issues, the main issue that we're having concerning my president, Joe Biden. And they're steady talking about Joe Biden, but one thing about it, Joe Biden had ran um, he was a success when he was with Obama, when he was a vice president. They had a successful leadership. So he is definitely the most qualified because he's done the work. But nobody's looking at that. So I don't know what that's about, but I think right now we're in political shambles in this country, definitely in our city. but it starts at the top. I can only hope that we make sound decisions. I can only hope that love and professionalism and experience overcomes the bigotry, the hate, the nastiness, the sexism, all the isms that hold us back and stop us from being successful in society. You know, I think the leadership always sets the tone for how things are going. And if things aren't going right, then it's up to the leadership to make some adjustments. I think Joe Biden has definitely done an amazing job at making those adjustments as they pertain to the needs um, of the United States of America. Um, so I think that's a bunch of hogwash that they're calling for his resignation. I think that's by design. I think that's driven by companies and rich people who have personal interests because let's face it, they're controlling the media. That's the reason why outlets like this are so valuable because they offer an alternative to real news and media insight. So I'm thinking that that may be some of the reasons we're hearing such a loud cry for him to step down because um, I think he's been rather kind to our community. And I think there's a lot of money to be spent. And I think certain entities and people in different situations want to get their hands on those dollars. And I am afraid for that to happen because what does that mean for you and I? So, no matter what they say about Joe Biden, I'm definitely going to have to be voting for Joe, because me myself, my nerves and my mental space cannot um, take another 4 years of Donald Trump. I just can't do it. So what else is going on locally? Because there was several things that I was hoping to speak with you guys about. And that assassination. Now you're hearing so many things about that attempt or whatever. Um, and he's wearing the band-aid on the ear. We didn't hear anything about the medical report or anything like that. Some people are saying it was a publicity stunt that I heard they were blaming Joe Biden for it. Well, on one hand, they're saying Joe's not savvy enough to, yada, yada, yada. And then on the other hand, they're saying he's doing all these terrible things. Which one is he? Because if you're not savvy enough to take care of the business, how is it that you're savvy enough to orchestrate something like that? So I don't know.
How you feel
Um,
about
um, I I think we need the truth. I think we need to hear the truth. And I think the one person that can tell us the truth is dead. And that was the gentleman that was taking the shots. Um, I think for him to come out of that with that same attitude, talking about fighting all this is alarming. It's alarming, but I don't think it's any of our position to take somebody's life. But I do think he needs to be addressed. I think the corruption needs to be addressed. And I think that he breeds a hate and a contemptment in our country that we just can't use right now. It's just I think it's dangerous for him to be our leader on so many levels because he's shown us that he's just not mentally stable.
I,
He's
I
not.
no, I get what you're saying. I was just asking though because I've been saying what you've been saying on the news. How a lot of them was saying Joe need to step down. My only thing about it now, y'all knew this before now, and now y'all hollering about it. So it's like you gonna sink the ship now.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Because we always play into that. We always fall for the banana in the tailpipe. We always fall for the snatching the rug from under us. Look, he's our guy. There's nothing we can do about that now, I don't believe, at this point. And I think it's rude and disrespectful when the man has been so generous, especially to working class people, poor communities. for us of all people to turn our backs on him. Because, like I said, out of everything that Donald Trump has done, his party would not speak against him. And I mean, this man has been rotten.
No, but I'm looking at some of the comments. I'm looking what Asaya Quill said, aka Mama Quill. She's saying Joe didn't just get old overnight, and I just think that what they did after that first debate, they in panic mode. But he been doing all the stuff that they accusing him of, like he need to step down, falling down, doing it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, to me, just my personal opinion, if the Democrats are gonna do this, they're gonna blow it.
I hope not. I hope we don't end up with that monster back in office. That would be so, so sad. I'm still working on the other computer to see if I can get it. That would be so, so sad, though. I'm just going to be honest with you. To end up with this man as president after all of the things, nobody calls me till 5 o'clock on Friday. Out of all the things that he has done, and you going to tell me he fit to be the leader of the free world? All the lies he was caught in, all the hate he spewed. I just, I'm like you. I hope that we just can't stick together for nothing. That's why we always in a bad way. I do believe that. We the people, we the working class people, we the not Republican people, we always get caught up and sidetracked by nonsense. And it
Right.
hurts us. It hurts us so bad.
No, you're right about that. It was one question for you right here. I'll put it up.
What to say?
You know I can't read, but I'll read it for you.
Because
It
I
said,
can't see.
please try to answer. I'm just wondering about the hit list on Flint. It's not right, but the people on the list, are they all gang related or regular citizens? And who is making the
Well,
list?
here's the problem. Here's the problem. These are young people. These are young people, and I don't and it these are young people, but the problem is these aren't their houses. These are their parents' homes. These are their parents' homes, and they when this hit list takes place, they're not the people that are it's intended on for. They're often not the person that comes up dead. That's another. There we go. So I could see. So computer. Why did it go down? What happened?
You just knock your picture off. You bet you back
Can you
on.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your picture gone.
I didn't do nothing but hang up the other phone
That's
but
what
hang up.
probably took you out when you hung up that one and knocked it. That one probably not letting your camera get access to it.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? So anyway, that's the issue that's happening. The person that's on the hit list that's supposed to get hit, they're not the people that's coming up dying. It's younger brothers.
Hold up, Carol. I'm breaking this one out.
Okay, so why would I turn this other phone on?
I got you. Yeah, just leave that one on right there, Sister Carol.
Okay. So the problem is they're not the person that's intended on a lot of these hits aren't the person that's getting hit. It's younger siblings, cousins that don't have anything to do with gang involvement or affiliation many times. So that's the problem. And the houses that they're shooting up, it's not their houses. It's their, like I said, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles. So that within itself is so disappointing because you may be a victim of somebody else's bad choices. Your honor student who's minding their business and keeping their nose clean may come up unalived because it's a choice an older sibling makes. Um, when the two young folks died, the gang member or the person they were trying to target got away. But
Mm.
you have two young people that are dead who were not involved in gang activity. So That's the saddest part, because bullets don't have no names on them, and it's getting out of hand. It is. So
I got a question for you, young lady.
yes.
So what you saying? Let's just say hypothetically,
Hmm.
you get the C right.
We get what?
You get the first word C right. Good
Yes.
good, good evening, brother Marcus Fielder. Shayada. So would you be in for a safety plan? Would you be pushing for a safety plan for the city of Flint?
I'm pushing for one, and I'm not in the seat. Absolutely, we have to have a public safety plan. And like I've said time and time again, we need a public safety plan, and we need a gun violence and gang task force that specifically addresses our gun violence issues in our gangs, because we are about to lose what is left of the city. Because like I said, who is looking to buy a home, who gets a great job and says, say if you get a great job that you can work from home, I'm gonna move to Flint. When people move back to Flint, it's because a parent is elderly, stuff like that. Something's going on, so they had to come back. We're making ourselves undesirable, and it's hurting our local economy, because you're not selling homes to working class families, working class young people with raising young children. Because like I said, what is the first one of the first things they ask? What is the school district like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something else. Another conversation to be had. Then you got all this blight, all these abandoned houses, and the elite. It's just, we got to tighten up, because the city was once getting taken care of, and that's because we had plans and structure that we followed to combat issues. And when you don't have a plan, you get with your leadership and your authorities and your community advocates, and you get a plan, and I'm so concerned that we're not doing that. Mickey, what do you think about these young people and all the gun violence? What do you think about that?
Oh man, I'm scared of them. Nah, let me just be honest with
No.
you. Nah, to be honest with you, it's terrible. I mean, when you hearing kids dying at 12 to 18, you ain't really lived. You know what I'm saying? But I do think, to me personally,
Mhm.
I feel like if you're not getting some of these, as they call OGs, or the ones who was active in the neighborhood to really talk to these kids, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get somebody that that's have been where they've been and understand what it is to go through this. Because just getting people who ain't never been in this to talk about it, all you're gonna do is you're gonna lose them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you need to get some of these activists, ex whatever they were, street people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just throw a tag on them, but you know, get them involved. Like having these I mean, when they having these, these talking sessions, I feel like they should be getting people who are in the street that's not active anymore. You know what I'm saying? Along with some of the clergy, you know what I'm saying? Get them together where you can be able to sit down and talk to these kids. And other than that, I mean, we just gonna be talking to ourselves and not to them, talking at each other instead of to each other.
You think I'm and not saying that I would ever give up on our young people, but I think we beyond the talking stage. I think we in dire needs of some reform. I think because a lot of these children go to school together. So they're in school, some of them, okay? But it needs to be some reform. And I've also said, with the public safety plan, all this technology, we need some surveillance cameras on these poles. Bottom line, we need some surveillance camera on these poles, and we need Johnny Law keeping an eye on the monitors. Okay.
But shit, they so rough right now. They do it in front of the camera. A lot of these, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Is how can you? My thing is, how can you prevent it before it happened? That's what I'm
Right.
looking at. Like, how can you prevent that before it happened? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but well, are from another lifestyle, but we so far in right now till I mean, because when they killing one another, I mean, you ain't finna just have no talk with no killer and no gangbanger. And okay, they didn't change their mind. We're gonna have to have, like I said, we got so many programs in this area, in these school districts. But where is the results? Where is the meat and potatoes to these programs? I
but
mean, because they got a lot of nice stuff wrote down on paper. Okay. They got
mm,
all kind of rules and because I mean, look at the city council in the situation that's in. They got all kind of rules that you're not supposed to be voting for your own nonprofit. You're not supposed to be doing this. You're not supposed to be doing that. And we see this stuff happening week after week after week after week. So,
is it really rules? Because if it was rules, you will get in trouble if you break them.
well, um, the Open Meetings Act addresses a lot of things that happen. The Constitution addresses how the public is being dealt with. People do like this, ain't said nothing, and do their hand like that and get put out of a meeting.
Hmm.
Um, I'm pretty sure the Constitution covers that when it says you have a right to peaceful protest.
I,
So,
you got a point.
I'm just saying, and then it also it's on the books that you're not supposed to vote for things that edify your household, um, for your spouse. And if you do, you're supposed to disclose those things and you're not supposed to vote on those things. Yet we got people voting on those things
But,
and they
but
know they're not supposed to.
but who upholding it though? We can see the rules being broke, but why did I mean why ain't nobody stepped in and said nothing? Because right now the way the Supreme Court then just did it, you can receive gifts.
Well, yeah, they didn't messed it up.
Yeah, but
Well,
why they
that's what
not going to court? My question is, who can take them to court? Who can take, say, the councilwoman out of the second ward, the councilman out of the third ward, for receiving gifts from Ashley Capital? Because you know who you received them for, and they voted on things that they, you know what I'm saying, on that $72 million tax abatement that Ashley Capital got. That's what I'm saying. Who can do this? Because y'all,
well
yeah.
that's what the law. People, like I said, I done called several law entities, and for whatever reason, the legal community is not getting involved. I don't understand it, but and seeing that's the problem when you have people that aren't doing the job or not concerned enough to do the job. Because we got people that's been signed up and got on city council. You're supposed to live in the community for a year. We got people that didn't live in the community for a year, to
I mean,
my understanding.
it's not facts, but what can you do when you got the who supposed to handle that? What was it, Gloria? Or was it no, it was Miss Inez Brown. I remember she spoke about it. Sister
Mhm.
Audrey went and complained to the what is that Davina running now? The clerk's office.
Oh, uh-huh.
They went and complained. I remember, and this is no shade to Miss Inez Brown or nothing. I gotta be honest with you. She
Right.
said it was told to her on her way out. Her speech was, "We got to start doing better." But that's the problem. And even going back to what Quincy saying, y'all want to do better on my watch. Why y'all weren't doing this before then? And this where we kind of get in the gray area when it's like, you know what I'm saying. But we people praise Miss Inez Brown, but she was going along with the BS.
Yeah, I think she made some key mistakes. I do agree with that, and I love Miss Brown, but I
Yeah,
think
no,
some
no
key
disrespect to her.
mistakes were made. And to Quincy's comment, it don't matter whose watch we on. You always supposed to want to do better.
Mm.
So just hearing that somebody in a leadership position don't want you to do better on their watch makes me feel like they're involved in the nonsense. Okay, because why else wouldn't you want to do better? As a leader, as somebody who is supposed to be setting an example for the process. For others, why wouldn't you want to do a little bit better than what's been done? So that right there, that just It's just so messy, and you just get tired. It's I'm fatigued. I'm fatigued with because and then like you said, so back to this. So if we have leaders that operate unlawfully, how are we going to get these young people to be law abiding citizens when we and then you got people scared to do their job. That's another thing we got to stop around here in Flint. We got to stop giving people the job that's afraid to do the job. Okay, we got to stop just because. Well, I'll leave that alone. But we got to stop letting people collect checks off titles for jobs that they're not doing.
Right.
Now, I understand. Yeah, I understand everybody be scared for their job, but you knew what the criteria for your job was when you applied for it. Okay.
got a point.
So, but I don't know if that's going to benefit us and going to curtail the corruption and the lawlessness that we're experiencing. Do you think at this point, because I've heard our leaders, our executive team say crime is down. And I just don't understand how crime could be down when every day, every other day, sometimes two murders in one day are
Mm,
occurring. How could crime be down?
mm, he lying. The proof is in the pudding. You see what's going on. You hear what's going on. He lying. You know what? I'm gonna give up something that I said I wasn't gonna do. But I really do feel like this, and this what I did. Whoever coming in, I hope they do steal this idea. Y'all need it. Flint need each ward need a liaison officer. You know and
Yeah, I think what it,
what I mean by liaison officer meaning somebody when you have like say we need to go back to we used to have block clubs. I feel like each block club president should be reported to the liaison, and what I mean by liaison, because your council people not going to be ever to be everywhere. That liaison officer should be right in that ward, meaning he should be touching every part of that ward, talking to the people, and he can come back and report to the council person. This is what we need.
now
Having
is that like every ward having a cruiser that patrols specifically that area
no. What I mean by a liaison officer, something like a he basically he would be more of
assigned to that community?
yeah, like you know what I'm saying. And even look, we got all these open buildings that don't need they need to have one in each ward. I don't care if even a council person. These community centers could be their office where you can get something going on. Not meaning, you know what I'm saying. What I really mean, not really just an officer, but somebody that represent like that area who can go. Let's better yet, let's use the South Side. Somebody that can go into the Regencies, that can also go
Mhm.
to the other side. You got to be able to have somebody where, because if you know, there's only time people going to the Regencies when Sheriff Swanson throwing something. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You need a
mm,
community. You know what I'm saying? You need a community activist that's in these neighborhoods that can be able to talk. But he would right like a community coordinator. That's what it'd be, a community coordinator.
yes.
Like you can go around. He can be the one. Not that he's giving out the tickets, but like far as
Mhm.
neighborhoods, if the block club president coming to him, you don't go you go get a ticket for the people not cutting their grass. You report it to the community, you know what I'm saying, that director of that ward, and let him go report to the NSO, like, listen, this neighborhood over here, they got these many houses who grass not kept up. You know what I'm saying? And let the proper people go pull up to these houses. You don't want no anybody, things can get kind of out of hand. They see that little police
Right.
officer pulling up and giving out, but you know what I'm saying? But you will have somebody that's talking. Good evening too, Jolene. What's up? It is what it's doing. So you need something like that, but we don't be thinking for it like that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have nobody because a person that be looking at that community person he'll be connected to the people. If I'm a council, he can get me out. You know what I'm saying? They not really is more about if I get in that seat, how can I keep myself in there instead of helping the people?
I think we need to have like them go back to having mini stations on all sides of town. With a few little cruisers, maybe two or three cruisers, and one cruiser need to be on the street at all times, cruising the neighborhoods. Okay,
Yeah,
you got to have. Oof. Go
yeah,
ahead.
But no, I'm just saying. But if you had something set up like a community center in each ward where the complaints can come to the people, and
Right,
they can come back to their ward, to the council person, and you know what
right,
I'm saying. And when you got somebody that will be all through that ninth, say first ward or whatever, and they
right.
directly reporting back to the council person who it is, and they coming up with strategies like this. What our ward need, because remember, each ward gonna have different
It's
needs.
different. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I would like that idea. I think that's a because you do need we do need a person that the community could report to for crime and stuff like that. Because a lot of residents know what's going on in their community, but they don't want to get involved because they don't want to be retaliated against trying to help the police do their job. Now your house and got shot up. You ain't making a dollar. Now your family in danger, and we don't have no police protection for you. So I agree with that. I mean, flat out, we got to have more police presence in the community. Period. I mean, it's just
But we need community engagement, just like right now how they finna have a park. What is it, Porch Fest? You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
It always should be the neighbor. I feel like each ward should be responsible for what they providing for their residents. Like it always should be something put on. It shouldn't just be, you know what I'm saying? Any type of community engagement. It should be all type of things. Maybe if having town hall meetings for that, because really, to me personally, your ward is really like it's your community. You supposed to be, to me,
it
working
is.
for the people. You know what I'm saying? Building things. Putting things up. If it is bringing, I'm gonna be sarcastic, like Juantez brought Lear here. Each council person
Yeah,
should be bringing some jobs to their area to help their ward. I'm just saying, just throwing something out there. I
yeah,
can't.
I got you. Well, I think I think that's good, but I think we got to focus on our kids. I think we got to get back to trades programs that's accessible, um, open gym,
Mm-hmm.
stuff swimming,
Mm-hmm.
recreational things for the kids. They got to have a outlet that does not include reading, writing, and arithmetic, outside of school. You know, kids want to have fun. They want to have a good time. They don't want to just read books. They don't want to just hear you talking to them all the time. They
Right.
like to be physical. I remember when I was in elementary, we all looked forward to getting in the sixth grade and graduating because the school would take you to Toronto.
Right.
Okay. That was the big thing. Everybody folks waiting from kindergarten to sixth grade to go to Toronto, and that was offered through the school. That was a school trip. The school don't even take field trips like that. And you don't hear about these schools really doing nothing. And it's just, and we don't have community schools.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's the number
Yeah.
one problem. None of the schools are in the children's communities, which I fussed about that on the board. I'm gonna leave that alone. But how can you be a community school and you're not in their community? Southwestern is way in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by freeways.
I don't know why they haven't just built new schools for these students. To be honest,
Well,
see, these schools is
they do
I mean,
need some new
I
schools.
mean, they like trap houses.
Well, we have it from school to prison pipeline, and that's by design. And it's
Mhm.
always an attack on the school district. And the school district, they might not be showing out, but they just like that city council, they making it happen for them and theirs. And these kids is getting left behind. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it starts right there.
Yes, we.
Like I said, we had open gym, we had day camp in the summer, we going swimming up at Northwestern, we going skating on Wednesdays at the school. I
Yeah.
learned how to skate in Gundry Gym.
I mean,
Then I graduated to Rolex.
see for sure that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's like we don't put nothing together. I don't understand why the wars for each 9 wards. I know all 9 wards got kids in them. Why they ain't had nothing for each ward? Like, let's set up baseball leagues for the kids for each ward where they could have been playing against each other. Little basketball tournament. Remember the churches used to have it. I remember coming up. It's like they ain't building nothing for our kids to get rid of their aggression. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? When you go to neighborhoods that's doing good, they have things for their kids for Johnny to get rid of that aggression that he got. Us,
right.
we
That's
taking it out on each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's like to me, I just hated that we got these so-called people that look like me and you know right, but to do right, dang, you might don't get that money. You got to go along. You know, you got to keep this system going because it's how they getting their money. But
Yep.
yeah, you talking
Yep. And if you trying to bless, and if you trying to be too much of a blessing to your community, they ain't got time for you. You roll with them or you get rolled over. And that's really part of the problem too. And my dad used to have a little league baseball team. Every year he would sponsor a little team. And I still remember some of the guys that played on his team. And every year and then he had a little bowling league for the young folks. He taught us how to bowl. But like you said, you got to be scared of these kids though. These days, you trying to take a killer to bowling.
I
You know,
mean, I just look at it like I understand what the kids. I even understand the parents. Listen, I had some friends, some that's not here no more than my mother. Parents that I think a lot of us, what people don't realize, a lot of us came up. Flint wasn't as bad as people like it is now. A lot of
right,
us was middle class. You know what I'm saying? Came from a 2 parent household. If you didn't, your father still came and got you. You know what I'm saying?
right,
They live in the same household. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But it's just like, and it's like now I don't think this generation getting to experience that. They getting to see the hardship.
right,
I'm saying like Flint didn't look this bad, high as looking. Now when I was in school, we all the schools was open. Well, Flint Academy was closed. You know what I'm saying? But all
hmm,
schools was open. We had everything to do. You know what I'm saying? Remember Clio Road McDonald's used to be jumping after the Friday games at Northern.
yes. They
You
don't
know,
even have dances. I remember
you
waiting
had
on them dances.
you had the Sadie Hawkins dance when I was coming up. You had so much. You had proms. It's like you had so much stuff that was going on inside the city that is not. You know what I'm saying? It
The
didn't.
Black Arts Festival, remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
The
yeah,
Black Arts Festival, Canusa games.
yeah. But
We
how
ain't
can
got
you
no-
get that back? The Gus Macker they had it downtown. I remember. But how can you bring that community? And we still had, but it wasn't like this. People were still falling out. You used to just get into a couple fights. You know, every blue moon somebody got lead threw at them. Some did die from it, but I'm just saying, not at this level.
Right. That was once every 2 years somebody.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I remember when I was in school, a guy died. He died in a snowmobile accident.
right.
Uh, and I just, that we was so grieved. All the students, we were so upset because it happened like over a break or something. And I'm like, how do these kids deal with this trauma every other day? A friend is dying. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of our students, they depressed.
Yeah,
Suicide rates is going up, homicide rates is going up. Our students are traumatized. Our students are depressed. We're offering no hope, nothing to look forward to. So I think we got to get back to, because like I said, in the Flint Community Schools, when I was on their board, they had all these programs on paper, all this stuff. This costs all these hundreds of thousands but then the kids are failing, were failing. We
right,
were doing terrible on the state test where they test you to see where you were. We weren't doing that great. And you got this college, that college, this college, all these colleges got programs, but the kids is failing on every level. I think at one point we were supposed to have a third party report card to tell how they were faring.
right.
And we had that for a New York minute, and then of course it fell to the wayside. I think we got to get back to watching the dollars and seeing where those dollars are going and if they're being spent on what they're supposed to be spent on, first of all, because we do have a lot of programs, but who are they benefiting?
Right.
I
But
think we got to start there, and we got to start with some police on the ground because we ain't gonna have that many kids left in a minute. At the rate this is going, okay? When
I
the honor kids is getting shot, that's scary.
And I agree. And I'm looking at, is this what we're doing, sending young people in Flint out poison because of the bad water? Yeah. But there's also some bad parenting. Like a lot of
It
parents,
is.
friends. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was growing up, I'm not saying I didn't see, my uncles ain't, did certain things, but you couldn't be in there with them. You had to be downstairs. Ain't like this the first
Yep.
thing been did or people they been doing it. It ain't like surf drinking just came. It's just that these they don't care. They let the world see what they doing. It just
Mhm.
was used to
And
be
folks didn't smoke
private.
weed with their kids back in the
Yeah,
day. You
it's
wasn't
like
gonna see that.
yeah, it's like certain even with like the it's like they want every high that's going on. Like
They
now,
do.
oh, you popping pills, I gotta pop pills. It's like to me, it's like, damn man, I don't know if I could be 17 or 12 in this doing this time, like all the peer pressure that's on. I mean, I know I could handle it because I wouldn't be listen, man. To me, I don't want to do it what everybody doing, to be honest with
Right. It's rough. But let me speak to that. I'm not saying the water crisis is the entire issue, but it has a lot to do with it. We saw kids go from being honor students to failing. Lead poisoning is real. And this is the age where they were getting poisoned. Like I said, if they were 11, now they 21. If they was 7, they 17. They was 5, they 15. And this is the age group where all these homicides are coming up. So that might not be the entire problem, but for us to not even equate that or associate that with the issues that that we're having now would be crazy. And we still got poison water. We still 10 years in. So we got to look at that too. And if we have programs for that, then we'd have programs for some other things. But everything is falling to the wayside. And we can't keep acting like we don't realize that's what's going on. Is all I'm saying. It has to be some accountability on every level. Too many sport jackets running around here talking about they this and they that, and we not getting no return for their paycheck.
you. Right.
That's my thought. So anyway, I missed Steph. Thank you, Mickey, for kicking in and chiming in with
You know
me.
I come help whenever I can.
Yeah, this has been a community conversation, and we made it through another Good Friday. And today I hate that I was so off, but I'm starting to grieve over here because it's getting depressing. For me as an adult, and I'm not even a victim or related to any of the victims, and I'm starting to feel some type of way. It's taking a toll on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't imagine what the parents and the families are going through. So on that note, I'm going to say, stay tuned, stay mindful. We got to stay engaged with our young people. You got to really ask them what's really going on in their day and how they feeling, and really listen and really, watch for the mood swings, the new friends, and all that stuff. Because right now we're in a bad way. I think our kids can be saved, but we have to really try to save. We're not going to save them by accident. So until next week, this has been a community conversation, and I am your host, Carol, and sitting in with our producer, Mr. Mickey Jordan, who's always got it going on for us at ATN News Media Group. Please tune in next week at 5 o'clock. Again, I'm Carol McIntosh. I am a candidate for your first ward city council seat, and I need your support. Thank you. All right. See you, Mickey. Bye bye.
Peace. All right.